Hi, this is Ruth Shapira, and welcome to Inner Judaism. In this episode, we're going to talk about the challenge of fear. There's a pattern most of us recognize in ourselves, even if we don't like to admit it. When we're standing at the edge of something new, something that calls to us, something we actually want, we find reasons not to go. We say we're not ready. We say the timing's not right. We say the obstacles are real, and often they are, but underneath all of that is something simpler and harder to name: fear. So let's focus on what Judaism says about that fear, and not just what we should do to overcome it, but why it's there in the first place. In Parshat Shlach, Moshe sends 12 leaders, Nisi'im, respected heads of their tribes, to scout the land of Canaan. These are not ordinary people. These men had witnessed the plagues in Egypt, the splitting of the sea. They ate manna from heaven every morning. Their physical needs were provided for daily, day by day, by the direct hand of God. And yet, 10 of the 12 came back and said, "We can't do it. We can't go into the land. The people there are strong. The cities are fortified. We saw giants, and next to them, we felt like grasshoppers." Now, here's what's important. They weren't wrong about what they saw. The obstacles were real, but they reported their fear without context, without any reference to who they were, what they had already survived, or who was with them. The Sfat Emet, the Ger Rebbe, suggests that the scouts weren't actually afraid of the giants. They were afraid of transformation. In the desert, life was miraculous, contained, spiritually elevated. Entering the land meant something different: agricultural responsibility, political complexity, the grind of ordinary life in a physical place with real borders and real enemies. They were afraid of losing who they had become. That's a very human fear, and it shows up in all of us. The scouts did see giants. They weren't making it up, but they called their fear reality and stopped there. We do this too. We look at a challenge and see everything that could go wrong, and we call it being realistic. We say we're being prudent, careful. We're just being honest about our limitations. But sometimes, often, what we're calling realism is actually a very sophisticated version of retreat. One of the great Musar teachers of the 20th century said that we are tested precisely at our spiritual level. Whatever we've already mastered, that's not the test. The test is always at the edge of what we think we can do. That's the point of free choice, and it lives exactly where our fear lives. Which means that the challenge you're avoiding right now, that resistance you feel toward the very thing that seems most important, that's not a sign that you're in the wrong place. That's a sign that you're standing at exactly the right threshold. The discomfort is the invitation. There's a beautiful Musar concept here that I think gets misunderstood. The word anava, usually translated as humility, is often translated as smallness, making yourself less. But Moses was called the most anav of all human beings. And he was not small. He confronted his fear. He confronted Pharaoh. He argued with God on behalf of Am Yisrael. He led an entire nation through the Midbar, through the wilderness. So anava is not self-diminishment. It's alignment between what you know in your mind and what you know in your soul. It's standing fully in who you are without inflating yourself above your space or shrinking yourself below it. So here is the question. And it's a question that is really important for your future. When you're standing at the edge of something that matters, something that requires you to grow, to risk, to change, where do you get your information from? From the part of you that sees only the obstacles, or from something deeper, from the part of you that already knows what you're capable of and why you're here? The work, and it is his work, is to develop that inner awareness, to notice when fear is doing the reporting, to pause before you let doubt become the whole story. The challenges we receive don't arrive randomly. The understanding from Musar is that the very thing that frightens us is calibrated. It's fine-tuned. It's the precise invitation we need to grow into the next version of ourselves, not in spite of the difficulty, but because of it. Don't let the part of you that only sees obstacles do all the exploring. Keep the thread of your soul and who you are in view. So that's the invitation that you'll have. That's the invitation that I'm giving you. Not to be reckless, not to pretend the obstacles aren't there, but to ask a different question when something difficult shows up. Not, why is this happening to me? But what is this asking me to become? I hope that you can find the courage to meet your challenges with that kind of clarity. I'm looking forward to having you as a listener, and thank you for joining in this episode.